Hello, my name is Diane, and I am first and foremost an author and animal communicator, but I am also a childhood trauma survivor, which has brought me to bring self care and pet care together. Today, I would like to speak to you about self love.
So I've spent quite a bit of time recently focusing on self-care articles, on memes, any information to share with you about self-care, anxiety, anything to lift you up and help you on your self-care journey. What is also important, and possibly why some of you have been struggling with self-care, is because you believe that you don't deserve it. This is where self-care comes in. As a survivor of childhood trauma and domestic violence, I understand this all too well. It's hammered into us, literally. Although, if you really give yourself time to think about it, those verbal cues were more damaging and abusive and led you to believe that you were not deserving of the blessings life can have. What is self-love? Self-love is giving yourself the same amount of love, time, and energy that you give to other people around you. It means loving yourself just as much as you love your spouse, your children, your pets, and your friends. Along with that comes all of the things that you do for the ones that you love. Affection, attention, comfort, compassion, giving, unconditional love. How are you at giving yourself the above things? Are you able to listen to your needs? If it's a struggle, believe me, I understand. I've been there. But it's not an impossible task. You can learn to love yourself. You've just got to take a deep breath and put yourself first, even if it's only in teeny tiny ways in the beginning. Self-love blossoms from acts of self-care. I'm going to say that again. Self-love blossoms from acts of self-care. And that's why we start with self-care first. Self-care is making the time and taking the energy to do the things you need when you need them. It doesn't mean yoga and spa days and beach vacations. It's the act of taking care of yourself and your emotions and doing the things that are for your greater good on a daily basis. I'll say that again, on a daily basis. It means honoring your emotions and being honest with where you are in life and what you want, and if you are doing the things to get you there. It means taking the time for yourself when you have 100 other things to do and you're stressed out and overwhelmed and about to lose it. Self-care is hard, but it's also worth it. My personal story about self-love. Growing up, I never really knew how to make myself happy. I was living two lives, really. I knew what to do to make my mother happy. She drummed it into me that I should literally always be last. I cooked, I cleaned, I gave up study time to ensure that she and her barrage of guests were always catered for. I did everything, leaving no time for self-care, so my little brother could play sport and enjoy his friends and thrive. He never lifted a finger. When I left home, was married, and just had my second child, my mother said that she made my brother do chores when I left home, as it would be unfair to me if she didn't do it then. That's crazy, right? If she split chores while I was living with her, that would have been fair to me. I would have had a life that didn't revolve around doing things for others. I would have learned a little more about self-care and how valuable it was. My stepfather was an alcoholic who physically and verbally abused me, right up until the day I moved out. So heaven help me if I complained and wanted off time. The flip side was spending a lot of time with my grandparents. There we cared for each other. There I really felt good. I only realized recently that it was because my grandmother taught me about self-care. She taught me that there was a time for everything. I always knew my grandparents were a blessing, but this tips the scales even further for me, especially knowing what I know now. When I moved out, I learned what things to do to make my boyfriend and soon after husband and children happy. I got lost in the routine of seeing to their happiness, and I never nurtured myself. I didn't feel like I was important enough to warrant any effort. It never occurred to me to think that I should do things to make myself happy. And of course, when I was happy for a brief moment, my mother would send me off on another of her guilt trips. I waited for other people to do that work for me. I didn't know that I had the power to do it myself. To be honest, I was burned out. Tired of giving, not wanting to communicate. I had little to no boundaries. All the signs were there that I needed outside help urgently. I decided that I needed to change. I didn't want to be that person anymore. One of the first steps I took was deciding to take part in a mirror work course by Louise Hay. I by chance found it online. Saying affirmations and doing the exercises made me realize that I needed to get that help I so desperately needed. When I finally went to therapy and decided that nothing would change, I also went no contact with my narcissistic mother. This began my real journey with self-love and self-care. I started to evaluate my life and set boundaries, which I am always changing to suit my growth as a human being, as well as my changing needs. From spending days on a wash, rinse, repeat cycle, I realized that I really ought to give myself more. Let me tell you, it's easier said than done. Self-care came slowly and I think more easily. The self-love department has grown gradually. I actually made myself a winter beanie and gloves this year, and I taught my daughter to make her own at the same time. I love myself enough to do things for me too. There were other less pleasant aspects of trying to figure out who I was. For so long I had been the victim. I had put myself in situations that ended with people taking advantage of me. It became a sort of validation for me to believe that I was as worthless as I thought I was. It was a challenge to recognize those situations, remove myself from them, and deal with people expecting me to be someone that I wasn't anymore. I had to learn the ability to say no, and that was by far the hardest thing I've ever learned in my life. I also had to learn how to rein in my emotions. I had severe anger issues and emotional outbursts that were so unhealthy for myself and those around me. Learning how to communicate instead of lashing out was another thing I needed to learn before I was able to truly love and appreciate myself. I had to learn to deal with my habit of lashing out in anger and hurting other people so that I could feel better. And the last thing I had to learn was forgiveness. The beauty of that whole process was that it started with the simple decision to put myself first, to figure myself out and actually try to understand who I was. Instead of expending so much time and effort to love and care for others, I needed to reflect that love and care to myself. I can't tell you how self-love will change your life, but I can show you what it did for me. I am here telling you this because I made the decision to love myself. It's worth nourishing and giving it the room to grow. It also begins with deciding that you are worth it. Let go of the past. Let go of the mistakes, the frustration, and see yourself as worthy. If you don't believe that you deserve to be happy or that you deserve to be taken care of, then you are unraveling any work that you could do before it even begins. Most of us are so used to giving. We give our love, our time, our feelings. We are the nurturers. We need to own our needs. They are ours and they are important. We need to take responsibility for the fact that we want things. And yes, sometimes that conflicts with what other people want from us. But at the same time, that doesn't make our wants or needs irrelevant. You should not disregard what you need, what you want, or what will nurture you in the effort to please anyone else. I really want you to believe deep down in your bones that you deserve to be loved and cared for. You do not have to do it all, and you shouldn't be expected to. As for your needs, honor them. So let's start now if you're feeling in a little bit of a funk. When you're grumpy, you're sad, you're feeling lost, and you just don't know what to do to make yourself feel better. The most important thing you can do is to allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you are feeling. Feel angry, feel sad, hurt. The second most important thing you can do is create a plan to deal with it. Feel and accept those feelings and then allow yourself to feel comfort, love, and joy. Feeling better is a journey. It's a process. It doesn't always happen quickly, and that's all right. This is my way of inviting you into my little sacred space, making you a cup of tea and sitting with you as we talk and share. I'm here to provide a little bit of comfort to let you know that you aren't alone and to let you know that it does get better. Everything is going to be okay. It's always darkest before the dawn. Write yourself a little letter. So when you're feeling down, you can look in the mirror and you can say to yourself, when you feel like you have no one, you have me. I'll never leave you. I'll never stop loving you. You know so much, you feel so much, and you are so much. You have so many talents. You are full of magic. You are amazing. You mean so much to many people. I adore you endlessly. It's okay to be crying and to be upset. I love you. It's okay to make mistakes. I love you. It's okay not to be perfect. I still love you. I love you beyond all reason. Nothing will ever take that away. So remember that. Remember that you are loved beyond all comprehension. No matter what has happened, you'll be all right. I promise. I swear to you, the sadness won't last forever. It's impossible for things not to get better. You just have to hold tight to that ride and ride the storm through. This is a sacred promise. Write your letter as if you are writing it to someone you love. You know what else? No matter what has happened, I know you tried your best, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you every day for all that you do. Will you remember something else for me? Promise me? Pinky promise even? Don't wrap yourself in misery. Don't wallow if you can help it. It won't make anything better. So cry, scream, journal it all out, and then allow yourself to heal. Remember that I love you. I love you more than the stars in the sky. Love you more than grains of sand on the beach. Love you more than drops of water in the ocean. It's okay. You are okay. Cross my heart. In this moment, you are perfection. So let's take care of you, yeah? Wrap you lovingly in my arms. Give you kisses. You are okay. I love you. You are your own soother, comforter, solace, and friend. You know exactly what you need. No one else knows you as well as you know yourself. Let your inner self, your wise woman, be a comfort to you. Allow yourself to look within and find the tools that will allow you to cope and deal with how you are feeling. There are so many resources out there for you to help deal with hard times. Talk to your friends, meditate, journal, blog, reach out for help. Take a nap, go outside. Take a warm bubble bath. Read your favorite book. Watch your favorite show or movie. Buy your favorite chocolate. Eat something that makes you feel good. Clean your living space. Listen to happy music. Do what you can to stop your feelings from escalating. Relax and let yourself feel better, not worse. Do what it takes to look after you. Here's a quote from an author that I really love, Elizabeth Gilbert. I'm here. I love you. I don't care if you need to stay up all night crying. I will stay with you. If you need the medication again, go ahead and take it. I will love you through that as well. If you don't need the medication, I will love you too. There's nothing you can ever do to lose my love. I will protect you until you die. And after your death, I will still protect you. I am stronger than depression and I am braver than loneliness, and nothing will ever exhaust me. I also want to share with you something that I've learned in the last year or so on this wonderful inner journey I've been on. I've learned that I'm enough. At times it didn't really feel that way, and sometimes it still doesn't. It didn't feel like I was letting go enough or getting over what was making me so unhappy, or that I was doing enough to fix all of my issues. When you start beating yourself up for all of the things that you are not, you miss the great joy of seeing the things that you actually are. You're beautiful, magical, amazing, regardless of where you've been or where you are going. Right now, you are enough. I believe that we all have potential to be great and amazing and fabulous and every little thing that we imagine. But that doesn't have to happen right now. Sometimes it can happen right now, and that's absolutely no reason to feel like we are failing in some way. Even if you feel like you used to be so much more than what you are now, know that you are enough. Know that your experiences have brought you so much growth. Believe that you will find your beautiful, radiant self. If you look at that person that you so badly want to be, and you fear that you'll never get there and never achieve that greatness, know that it happens one step at a time. Just keep moving in the right direction, even if you occasionally lose your way. You are enough. Let those words sink in. Let them go into your pores. Believe them, feel them, know them. You are enough. Then change your thoughts. It is only a thought, and a thought can be changed. My first time thinking about that, I thought, really? I can really change those? They've been ingrained in me. It sounds really silly now, but at the time that statement just boggled my mind. I was used to being a creature of emotion and upset thinking, controlled by my emotions and thoughts. If I was angry until it went away. I didn't make it go away. It left on its own time when it was ready. Usually after a fair bit of yelling, screaming, and crying on my part. There was also that horrible domino effect. You know the one, where you have the angry, sad, anxious thought, and the thought changes, gets bigger, brings its friends along, and before you know it, there's an out-of-control pity party going on, and you wish you weren't invited. That kind of thought changing I was well acquainted with. That I could take that thought and throw it out the door to be replaced with something good and nourishing? Well, it's possible. I've learned that now. It's not always easy. It takes time and practice, but it's doable. I was talking to a friend about how frustrating it was that whenever I have a negative, unpleasant thought, I can't automatically turn it around. I learned something very wise through that conversation. All you have to do is to want it badly enough to keep trying. Change doesn't happen overnight. Something else that I've learned is that you aren't obligated to feel one emotion at once. Just because you're sad doesn't mean that you can't feel happiness. Emotions are meant to be felt, and they can be felt more than one at a time. So honor your emotions, but don't let your thoughts run away with you. Be in control. You've probably heard of self-soothing in relation to babies. The concept is that babies need to learn how to relax on their own enough to fall asleep without being held or rocked. This usually involves a lot of crying on their part. Regardless of which side you fall into on that debate, self-soothing is something that all adults need to learn. When you are having those upset and anxious moments, you need to know how to calm yourself down. You'd be surprised at how many people just don't know how to do this in a constructive way. They get overwhelmed with negative emotions and they turn to destructive ways to cope, like lashing out, drugs, alcohol, or deep depression. You need to discover how to self-soothe. When you are getting overwhelmed, the easiest way to figure out which way to self-soothe is to go through your 5 senses. Touch. This is the one that actually works really nicely for me. Touch is a great way to immediately ground yourself and bring yourself back into the present, into the moment. What works best for me is touching something soft. And it helps me to calm down, and I actually sleep better when I have something nice and soft to run my fingers against. You can also use other kinds of touch therapy, like petting your fur child. They are known to have wonderful psychological effects on their guardians. Smell. Now, I'm a huge fan of aromatherapy. Burning some oil in a burner, having some incense lit. You've just got to be careful with your pets to make sure that if they inhale the scent, that, say for instance, through a diffuser, it's not going to harm them. Otherwise, if you cook, you go outside and smell the flowers, have some nice smelly bath stuff. Smell is really good to bring you into the moment and to help you calm down. Sight. Create your own room that has colors that you enjoy. You can choose colors like blue, which, for instance, in an animal communication sense, blue, especially baby blue, is calming. Use your favorite color. Make this area a nice, peaceful area with the colors and lighting that you choose. You could even light a few candles. Taste. Eating something good is great, but with self-care in mind, make it something that you enjoy or that nourishes your body. And of course, you can add to smell from that cooking or baking or something that you made and combine the two to bring you into the moment and to help keep you calm. Sound. This is another favorite of mine. I love music. Depending on what my mood is, I can get into some calming music before bed, say for instance. Some loud rock music will also calm me down. It just goes with my mood. So go with your mood, play around with sound, and see what helps you improve your mood. A big one. This is really a big one. And I've spoken about it before. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to tell people no. It's okay to stand up for yourself and speak out when someone is not treating you the way you deserve to be treated. Sometimes in life we come across people who push our boundaries or make us wish that we had boundaries to begin with. You know the ones that we allow to put us down because we don't want to be confrontational or cause problems. The ones that say or do things that rub us the wrong way and make us feel uncomfortable. Those who take away from us without giving back and make us feel used. We all know someone like that. You might let it go. You might make excuses, even justify and blame yourself. There's something that you ought to know, though. No one has the right to make you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. No one has the right to put you down. No one has the right to make you doubt yourself or believe that you are not filled to the brim with greatness and potential ready to spill over. So don't give your consent. Don't brush it off and allow it to be okay, because you are worth more than that. I know it, and you should too. If you don't have boundaries, make them. Put your foot down. Put your fences up and let people know that you do have boundaries, that your sense of self and your self-esteem are off limits. It's worth it. It's worth it to be surrounded by people who support you, or at least keep their negativity to themselves. You know who you are. You know what gifts are hiding within you. So surround yourself with those who will nurture that and not try to take it away from you. You deserve the best. You deserve people in your life who support you, who light you up and set you aglow and allow you to see your own radiance. There's a thin line between giving of yourself and giving up yourself. Don't give up yourself. Don't let people take precious things from you, your love, your time, your body, if they truly aren't deserving of that gift. Respect yourself always. I used to think that if you refuse to acknowledge those bad emotions, then they would just go away. Doesn't work like that. A lot of the things we feel that we don't want to feel, hurt, jealousy, anger, create wounds inside of us, and slapping a band-aid of happiness over them doesn't make them go away. We have to feel it. We have to acknowledge it, work through it, and come out the other side healed and whole. Inadequacy and self-criticism are issues that I feel very close to. I've experienced them, I've learned from them, and I've sent them on their unmerry little way. This is what I have to say to both myself and to you. I believe in you. I believe in you so much. So don't let the little voices in your head named not good enough and why try into your head if you invite them in. Don't let them stay long. They're silly little voices and they just want to cause trouble. Believe in yourself like I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that there is so much limitless potential waiting quietly inside of you. Do you hear that? Limitless. Think of all the things you could do if you just acknowledged that all of that was inside of you right now. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. That is theirs. It's not for you. This is your path, and you were meant to be on it. Let go of the doubt. It has no place here. Believe in yourself, and the world will begin to believe in you too. Shine infinitely.
Thank you for joining me with this workshop today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you take something away from it. Remember to have a look at the resources on the page for the workshop. And also, please do follow me on 8 Author and Animal Communicator page or Pause for Self-Care so you know when the next workshop is. Cheers!